Enjoy watching the rest of our games. We'll all enjoy them with Toby1 and Cameron Davis.
Ha! You think you're going to enjoy them, but not while we're casting. Hi, everybody. We are here to do round 18. 3 left in the day. Every team looking for a bit of a contest for the top positions, apart from maybe WTSG. I love those guys, though. I love them. It's just, it hurts me to see them in 16th position with almost... is 1,200 points behind Vitality, who are in first. But let's watch the drop. We have a Western Circle again, and it was a Western plane. Teams don't have to go out too far, but the drops are interesting because we've got teams in different places.
Yeah, we saw a number of teams drop elsewhere. Ghost up in Zarki, FaZe dropped west of Severny, M19 are in actual Severny, and so a lot of adjustments made based off of this plane route. But the teams that are sticking with the usual spot on the eastern side, I'm looking to see where Knights want to fall. It's going to be a rough rotation because they got to fly all the way east. Liquid also have to rotate all the way east to Yasnaya and then come all the way back. And so it's going to be rough timing for them.
At least you've got a decent amount of time to loot the eastern side. You know, no one's going to stick around there for too long. Like Liquid,
Sure.
they'll have Pollyanna all to themselves. It's just that northern part of the circle, which I'm interested to see how clustered it's going to get. As you said, welcome to South George. They're in south of George. Then you got a Vanguard in the northern part. But having Ghost laid on top inside of Zaki, like no one likes to go to Zaki. And right now, Ghost are having to accept that fact, and then they still have to push over the bridges to get down. Either that, or they boat it into the western coast. And maybe that's the other options you look at.
They could
Maybe we go by water.
Yeah, coming in on the western side can be dangerous because it's really difficult to go over the beach. There's very little cover.
Yeah.
But if they go in very early, I can't imagine that there are going to be that many people camping it. So that may be the play there. But Zarki, with this plane route, isn't as bad as it is most of the time, which is why I see them going there as a second option.
Yeah, with that plane and with the circle, it's fine. Enters are the ones who are probably a little bit happier about things. They're very spread out across the middle as well as the southern part of the circle. Of course, there's always one player from Method who is sitting on someone else's toes, and that's actually Rafi. And that's actually the exact situation we're showing on your screen right now. So Rafi versus Christus. They're both trying to loot around Fury. As the Australians would say.
Fear.
Fury.
Oh,
Fury.
I just made it southern.
That's where the Furies are. Furies. It's the Fury.
Look, so Knights right now, they're still not in their loot spot just yet. They're only just now arriving. And that just gives you an actual representation of how little time they're going to have, because in just under 3 minutes the blue is going to start to close and they're probably only going to have a couple of spots looted up. It would be one thing if they looted up a city, but because they're also looting up spread compounds, that means that their rotations in between the loot spots is even longer.
Well, here's another player. I guess gets to be near an Enters player, but Maluk takes the car and drives away. Slowly and surely, Rafi and Christus are getting a little bit closer. It's been well, in most of the rounds that we've actually cast together, there's been a lot of kills early on. Oh, Rafi. He just had the M24 out. He didn't actually grab the UMP, which is in the corner, so first blood is spilt, and it's Rafi all over the floor.
Yeah, had no clue that Christus was there on that compound, which is a little sloppy because OGN are not strangers to this part of the map. So either he saw something that he thought made it safe, or just it ended up being just sloppy play either way. But only losing one isn't the worst. We've certainly seen Method come out of worse situations, have worse starts.
That is, yeah, Method are the king of it. I always love watching their horizontal drop, 4 players separate. But it's all right. Well, they'll come back together again, and they had some terrific days. Always remembered their day one on Miramar. It was a beautiful sight. The rest of Method, of course, they are just going to continue to farm up in Primorsk. They need to get every bit of loot available for them.
The other contender to OGN right now is going to be Vitality. We expected a little bit of a clash between OGN and Vitality on the Western Bridge. OGN camped it before, and so the same way that we've seen it happen earlier today, Vitality are sending one player early, Yannick in this case, to make sure that that bridge is not camped. They're just protecting that rotation for later on, which is definitely a good long-term play.
Like Enters have managed to at least secure a compound, which is it's actually very, very well centered.
Yeah.
And a nice place to actually take. A lot better than taking something like Gatka, which is just open fields around you, hard to rotate off. This is actually easy to rotate off compound.
They're going there at a good time as well, because for a team that loots as split as they do, for looting in the middle of the circle, that's always dangerous because if a team rotates in on you, that's a potential 4v1. And so they're trying to loot it as quickly as possible, but then immediately, quickest timing as they can, find a spot to claim so they can then play defensive. It may mean that they have less loot than otherwise, but it's certainly a safer play.
Well, it looks like your boy Dre and Larson are on a run for this loot crate. Everybody wants a little bit of it, but WTSG getting off a little bit early. But Zampa, that's the reason why Larson's getting out. Zampa is going to drive right over the top of him and gets knocked out by Larson. We've seen Larson get knocked early very on for WTSG many times. It's never gone well for them after that point, but this time around, he comes out on top. It's not going to stop Vard from doing his run. It looks like your boy Dre has it backed off it. Nice bit of loot, nice level 3, and Vard can be geared, pimped, you could say.
Yeah, good M24 to find, and that was the other team that loot split in this area, Tempo Storm as well. OGN, they've been able to avoid the problems of splitting in the center of the circle. Tempo Storm, unfortunately, were just a little bit too slow. WTSG had a quick quick drop onto their loot spot, and so they had a faster timing than otherwise.
Well, Optic, start your rotation in. Everyone is definitely starting to gather in the middle of the circle, and all the edge players, they've already managed to back off too. So there was no contest for Vitality to get over the bridge. And that'll be fine. MVP is fine on their corner as well. FaZe, they're coming in a little bit later. The Vanguard have taken that northern compound. There's some good ridge lines for them to play around from there, while WTSG, they're taking more around the observatory. Actually, a little bit further south of the observatory. Apart from Galaxy, who will be the floater.
Yeah, just peeking up north, trying to get information, seeing where everyone else is coming from. They're quite isolated right now. Everyone's going to be coming in, most people are going to be coming in from the east or the north, and so it's going to be a little bit until they may start to receive much pressure, if they do at all. There are still a number of teams that are outside the circle, but their rotations should start to come in soon as well.
Yeah, this is MVP. They're going to try and cut the eastern side. They're going in pretty deep too. Just wonder how far they go, assuming that most of these compounds in front of them should be taken. It's going to be a hard time if they just roll up.
I think they may be rolling up to OGN's compound as well. They're certainly driving close to it, maybe trying to hit that area where it's close enough that shots come out, but far enough that they miss.
Take the ridge line to the south of it. Like, the fire is already coming out, so it looks like Youngtan will have to move away from it. And the rest of MVP can do the same thing, but there's that congestion you're going to see on the northern road. Ghosts are already coming in. They could hold the edge, because you got FaZe and M19 and Liquid all coming together to where Ghost has already come in. So watch that northern side eventually very closely.
Yeah, they are actually grabbing the cube compound, which it can be very disastrous because it blocks an entire bridge.
Good stuff. He has been an absolute machine. He's going to try and use that gun. AK going to work on Sampty. Could not connect, however, not this time around. Sampty just starts spinning it around. He's realizing he's just driven into M19 too, so Liquid, they are more than running the gauntlet. They may think there's safety in the compound, but there's not. The only safety they've got is if they basically ditch it in the water. That's the only place to go, because Ghost, they're all set up. So Liquid, they'll hit the road. Ghost will not open up on them just yet. And they're actually bailing out. They're heading down the eastern road past Watertown.
Yeah, I think they may have spotted Balak trying to go out and get in a ridgeline north. So if... that was actually probably the sign for them to maybe let's not go this way either. So actually it looked like it could have been quite bad for Liquid, but they were able to rotate away. Only two were able to go across the river for now. The other two having to wrap around, coming in from the east side, a different point of entry.
Youngtan not only just killing, like knocking, he kills off Larson. I think he's a little bit uncertain about things. He's actually tossing grenades over too. You have the kill. He's dead.
There could be a teammate there, and there are shots coming up from WTSG onto MVP as well, but WTSG, they're going to push off because it looks like, I think it was Tempo Storm that was maybe trying to put a couple of shots their direction as well. It's a good idea from WTSG to push out of that compound because you can see that ridgeline. It blocks a lot of information on towards the east, but unfortunately it seems like they moved out a little too far, a little too quickly, and they take the second casualty, or actually third casualty of the game because of it.
Vanguard, they were playing around the opposite compound from Optic. And MVP begin to push, and Galaxy looks like he's facing the wrong direction. Bullets into the back, knocked out and brought down. Miraku should have been scouted out as well from Pang, and yup, okay, no, it goes back the other way. Vard had the angle to give his buddy some cover, and already trying to go for the push, but he really cannot. MVP, they own that entire ridgeline.
It's a wide play by MVP, but this is the time in the game that you want to do it, because no one else is close enough to really third-party this and able to get 2 kills off of it, get the revive of their own. They may want to commit onto this take, but it looks like they're pushing off. But a Vanguard, yeah,
those long bullets, those long bullets are coming in from Cloud9, thinking they can find the finish on the Vanguard player. So let's see this again. So Hypoc, well, he thought that compound was going to be clear, took off in the car, and then just gets blasted down.
Should be a good revive onto Diaz, though, so Vanguard are going to stay as 4. Both these squads, it's a good compound to chill out in. It's going to be taking out poke shots back and forth. For AM also taking some shots onto Gen G rotating in. Gen G have had some difficult rotations this second stage, having to adapt a lot from stage 1, but it looks like they're getting a center spot. Yeah, well, if they can find a spot.
They're going to go into Vitality. Like, they're just going to drive straight down towards the southern compound. So Vitality, they've already reached it. Gen G, they'll have to take the tree line behind now.
Yeah.
They saw the cars go in.
Exactly. They spotted that out at the last second, so they're just going to take the ridge line below it, and they're going to avoid all the conflict that comes up from these northern teams pushing down south.
Yeah, 4AM are moving quickly too. They can take the yellows. It's probably the closest ridge line and compounds they can have that will be in relative safety. FaZe and Liquid, they're taking a very long time. Still both of them north of Pachinki.
Liquid doing a long rotation out and around. This one won't have to go through the blue, but they're certainly not strangers to that concept.
I think Ghost may have a couple of troubles in a second too. They're driving directly through Avangar. It's their attempt to get in through the northern part of the circle. As, well, there it is, Ghost. They pull up on the edge of the ridge, so Avangar, they're kind of the ones in a bad position. They can play around the buildings, but Ghost, Allergen hits the deck. Grenades are flying in from the side. But it's Avangar trying to play the small windows. Doesn't help when the grenades fly forward. Turtle's going to miss his, however.
Umino is key here. Here's the guy playing on the left, but nades coming through as well as shots. He may have to fall off of that.
He's just to the bottom part of your screen, so Avangar do actually have 4 up trying to play it.
He gets smoked out, and so it's going to limit his angle of attack.
Meanwhile, grenades fly forward, and Young Tan is brought down by Optic. They were originally here having that battle with Avangar before they decide just to, well, pick up and go. That's what MVP are now trying to do as well on their escape. As that line of sight from Mumino goes almost on top of him. He's got Turtle, he's opening up with the DP, finding 1, finding 2. He's got the open clip, waiting it out, and Allergen runs into a Mumino. He's taken 3 McCoy, the last one left standing. He's pushing over to try and help his teammates. Can Mumino do it all by himself? He's finishing him off. He's got tons of bullets to do it. 2 drop down. McCoy is standing his ground, but he cannot stand forever. Brought down, and Ghost is eliminated, wiped out by Avangar.
I honestly have no clue how Mumino got that many kills without getting traded.
They just never found him instantly, but then again, you follow the sound of the DP, that thing is loud as hell.
I mean, and maybe after they saw his position, they smoked him off. Maybe they thought that he retreated away, but instead it looked like he actually crawled forward, and just Ghost giving a Vanguard just a little bit too much room. They weren't able to find those initial picks coming up to the ridgeline.
Yeah, that's beyond a disaster for Ghost. They need to have really good performances to continue their run to try and get out of that bottom part of the group. And, well, they're in 14th position. They're probably going to remain there after that performance.
Yeah, if not drop down lower.
Yeah. Well, they're right next to Avangar, so maybe they just trade positions.
Actually.
It's kind of a sad thing when it's like, that was the battle between 14th and 15th.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, back where the circle is crisp, Vitality, Hold, one of the most scented compounds of them all.
Yeah, we just saw OGN win. Well, no, they had that was a really good position in that compound, but unable to hold it.
And then FaZe.
Yeah.
Then FaZe arrived.
FaZe came in, yeah.
Exactly. FaZe have been like firing on all cylinders. It's been wonderful to watch. They still want to do the same, but they're coming in very late. Like, they're still over in Pachinki. It's Cloud9 will put themselves in harm's way in a 2-2 split. So Nerf and K-Mind, this is kind of like the Crap Shack. Not a lot of cover for them, and this is the man shooting at him, God V. And the 4 times SKS just peppering down. He could just start breaking. He's got enough bullets. Just prone and just release. But it looks like they'll let him get the res.
Yeah, that's real risky for Cloud9 because it is just 2 white spots in the middle of a field, but if the circle does center again, that will give them at least like a little bit of control. And even if one side gets crashed by a squad of 4, it leaves the other 2 still alive. So it's certainly not an aggressive, it's not a very powerful play, but it's a safe one.
Vanguard are now making their push up. They'll take the hillside. Knights are already up there, however. So they should be careful pushing forward, but that's the reason why they're also in a 2-2 split. There's an AUG right now down next to Cloud9, but that's no man's land. Anyone who wants to grab that can also grab death.
That's bait. No, like there's nothing more to say about that than that.
Drop bait, click bait, drop bait.
It's likely going to get picked up like later on in the game, but no one's going at it right now.
We're going northwest. So for now, Vitality can remain where they are, but everyone who was prepared on the south side, who thought maybe some of this water will remain, is already on the rotation. Knights driving straight past that duo of Cloud9. They can't really connect with the bullets, but Liquid as well as Knights driving past each other, apart from Kramer, who's managed just to flip his Dashia. And there's Peng, hold the line. Optic Balwaka tries to get in. Is there a secondary run? There's the cars flying in from Liquid. It's roadkill. K-Mine went flying. Nerf wants to stand his ground, knocking out 2, but Skoom puts the bumper forward. Nerf is finally brought down. So there's 2 split. Miracu able to steal one of them. K-Mine dropping. But Team Liquid, they charge their way forward then, try to grab any position they can, but this ain't a solid one.
It's not, and that's actually why you see them have to change their vehicles to put some hard barrier, but that's only going to make their later rotations even worse if it doesn't swing back down onto them because their position isn't quite central. Nerf does get finished off IBs. We also saw MVP take a lot of damage. It's just Alpaca left for them. M19, they moving a little back up, but Method's rotating all the way around them in the blue. It's a long rotation for them, but it's another one of those plays that they're just trying to avoid the congestion, the traffic from the south.
Yeah, and rightly so. When you have 4 or 5 teams all converging in, and you already knew Vitality were well established, it's a nightmare. So they go through the north. That's currently controlled by a Vanguard as well as FaZe. Not they're going to say FaZe controls much when they're all standing on top of each other, but with M19 gatekeeping the west, it's very difficult to just easily rotate in. But they got 2 minutes to get inside the circle. It's not going to burn that hard on them, so it's worth the tick.
Easy rotation up for M19. Find a compound pretty free. This is the compound that WTSG and MVP were fighting over earlier before the last hard shift.
Yep.
They may want to push forward, take it, actually take the hill that MVP were holding onto them. And that would be a nice spot to hold. Won't have to worry too much about their backside. Just look dead centered to the circle.
Seems like a fiery graveyard for Team Liquid, and this is how it all began. Nerf. Okay. How did he get not knocked by that?
I don't know.
He was inside the engine block.
I don't know. We saw it happen from the aerial view, and I'm just like, oh, well, we'll hope we get a replay and see that. But
all right, Texas, take the MK14. He has been. Like, I actually just love watching Texas play because it's either death or glory. And there is no in between. And you give an MK14 potential for a lot of glory.
Yeah, Knights, they want a lot of that, but Kramer going down is definitely not a good start. They've had a rough of a day, and they were one of the teams coming in that you just really hoped to have a good day. Like, people felt like it was maybe their time, but they slipped from, I believe, 3rd into now 5th, going out quite early 2 games in a row, so they're going to want to turn that one around. Thankfully, the other 3 are still alive and in a spot that isn't immediately contested, so they still have a decent chance.
Looks like Genji able to push a little bit closer on the hill. They got to be careful, as they are becoming a little bit more exposed to the open field on the opposite hill. While Vanguard are having their own little battle with Method, keeping them as far to the north as possible. And with this circle, unless it's going to be a hard shift to the northwest, Method will be forced out of their compound. And Vanguard know this. That's why they're blasting through the door. They want to watch Method's position very, very close.
Bumino got a little
He's inching the right. He's the edge of the building. Maybe I can get a knock. But then they have to push. Like maybe the compound a little bit further to their south, to the southeast is the way to go. But the circle, the encroachment is ending. 4 a.m. You can't stay out there inside the blue forever. They have to come in or else they're going to tick real hard. And we are shifting to the east. Entus, it's the dream for them. They're in 2nd position with a hell of a lot of points. And they want to get a little bit more.
4AM coming directly on to M19, long taken low and immediately taken out. 4AM, they may decide. Okay, yeah, so he went alone. No. He went by himself. That was a solo play. Yep. Everyone else would actually just stop, so I'm curious on why he found it reasonable to even try.
They're testing. They had to throw somebody in there because they didn't know any entrance point. So is the compound still there? The circle's already come in. Maybe M19 weren't hanging around. They hung around, but now they're going to move in 4AM. They're just going the long drive forever. He's going to go through. God V's in the house. I don't know if this is a quick pickup. Like, did you order an Uber God V? Forever? He'll bounce out, but you do not want to stay here for long. M19 is encroaching.
But they're able to leapfrog in front of M19, which gives them a little bit of an advantage. However, Tempo Storm are in front of them, so it's a little bit of a mix-up. Rotations through, though. Liquid almost got it down, I think, on the Knights, who were going all the way to the opposite side.
It was Voxic who just did the whole long run. Cloud9 is already there to welcome them when they arrive too, but this is this cluster of 4AM 3 players. Tempo Storm are keeping them pinned. There's the Knights. They did manage to find a shack, so they'll bunker in for the evening. I think they'll want to come out anytime soon. Cloud9 have the better angles. Oh, okay, there's one extra player to arrive from Knights in the back and then close the door. Everybody in. Who's got a grenade and who's got the range? And who's not going to run over their teammates? Avenge. Avenger in trouble. Diaz needs a pickup. Meanwhile, Mumino is doing the work for the team. Like, Mole Man gets killed off, but Yak is looking for the line through the smoke, hoping for a hit, but he won't hit. He won't grab him. They're under cover of the rocks.
OGN, though, could deal like really third-party this on Avangard, but Method's still in an even worse spot because that's hardly a shack. Batesie's pushing up north to see if he can find a separate angle, but Mumino holding that line for Avangard. Alpaca, last member of MVP, trying to push him, but he's taking a lot of bullets.
Got him. Finally, the car can't tank through every single bullet. One of them had to hit his head. And it was Genji who was already laying in wait. They've got car cover and a shrubbery.
That's it. Cover. Yeah, just the cars. We didn't see them bomb up through Vitality to find a spot, and that's a risky spot, but in a field as wide as this in the circle, that's really all he can ask for.
God, Moody is just feeling like there's 3 kills just waiting for him, and they're all in that shack together.
The door's right there. They're going to have to walk out right through his line of fire as well. So he's just probably salivating at this. FaZe now pushing down, forcing into action because Method are pushing up.
Yeah, Method, they're going to actually really hit very, very hard. Mixie, he's looking around, not in the right angle. Now at the head. Did he see Mole Man for half a second? No, he didn't. But Gustav will. There's more support available. Mixie needs to get the knock, but it's not happening. They didn't see Mole Man on the side. He's the last up and standing player. The grenades, hear him flying in a little bit too long. Mixie, he's in the cover of the foliage for the moment, and the rest of FaZe need to come quickly. Mixie, he will be brought down. Jempty is trying to find an angle. It's not quite there, so instead they'll go for the res. Fuzzface, they can play around X-Chris. He's knocked down, so they have the bait.
Smoke comes out.
He's actually, is he running it or up the side?
Oh, he may be trying to go for the revive.
Yeah, he's going to give it a shot, but FaZe are back up on 3.
He's holding an angle on X-Chris to walk away.
It's
he's expecting aggression. You can tell that for sure.
Fuzzface aiming around the tree, just trying to pull him out of cover. It's half successful. The circle is now finished, and we are headed towards the north. Once again, Entus right in the middle of it. And say goodbye to Method. It actually looks like Mumino jumps in to get the snipe. So Avanga, they get the snipe, will reveal their position, so FaZe will come down, but this is the compound. Avanga and Entus, they are smack bang plumb in the middle of the circle.
And actually, neither of these squads has to move. These two halves of the same compound are so far away that they can kind of just ignore each other. There's no real reason to push right now. It looks like Avangard actually pushing 2 up because they know that FaZe are up there. And so they don't want to let them into the circle if they have any choice. Leaving 2 down just to watch over OGN.
3 cars around a rock. It's almost in a beautiful fan symbol. They will hide themselves up for the moment, but they're going to take a lot of fire. As our Knights running over Genji. Remember, they still had that compound, that small area that they called their own. But that's why OGN as well as Cloud9 are still watching them like hawks. Don't want to let them in freely. And Avanga actually come out of their compound for the moment. They do not want to continue to fire from inside the buildings. They're trying to take the fight towards FaZe, but Gustav is there and ready to fire.
It's an ambitious gatekeep.
That grenade. Back in, back in, back in. Safety, safety.
Go, back.
Miracle. There's the gunfire. Godv got off his bike. A little bit faster and lined him up. So Miracle gets gunned down. 4 AM, claiming the southeast corner of that circle. Or southwest, sorry.
Gen G, they couldn't push it on Knights, so they're pushing on OGN.
Oh, their entrance! They need to get that quick kill. They're able to actually claim it, but Genji with a 2 knock. It is actually Enters who are in a world of hurt. At the same time, Vargas run over by Yannick. They're just running through. Optic hiding inside their own shack. This push from Genji probably won't come any further, as the Vanguard are wondering if they should get involved at all. And it's a slaughter fest. Vitality copping a lot of casualties too.
Really hectic push there by a lot of teams, but going through a field, very few comps in this circle. There weren't a lot of options for a bunch of teams. Loki and Simpson, they were at least able to grab a building for themselves and get a revive on their third teammate. OGN doing a similar revive of their own, but unfortunately they don't have as much control because they just lost a key building in this compound.
Well, that's going to be a fun line, Diaz. If you can find a line for someone to shoot. Bangview 5. Okay, it's taken by M19. Well, the ones controlling that western hillside. Optic are in a real hard trouble too. 4 AM and keeping them out. The house that Knights built are able to at least hold it for the moment. Cloud9 are on the edge of the compound. It was actually the secondary house that Knights built. They moved down the crab shacks. Well, this is 4 AM's gatekeep. Keeping Optic out, keeping them in the blue. They're burning hard. Hetero is just hiding inside the smoke. He's preparing his own grenade. I think he understands that death is nigh. They're just banging in towards the tree. He's just behind it in cover as more grenades fly the way of 4 AM as Tempo Storm, who have the hill just above them. And the circle, we shift again. A little bit to the southeast.
Unfortunate for Hetro, actually. Valiate had to stay in the blue to give him the covering fire, but then a nade comes through and kind of squashes that, so Optic in a real rough spot.
M19 are rotating as 4 players. They are pushing that western front, and maybe they're having a couple of thoughts about it as 4 AM are there waiting for them. And yeah, they've actually changed direction. They're heading directly into Melik. He's the last one up for Tempo Storm, and he does not want to get involved in any kind of fights.
We've seen M19 have to go on pushes like this before, and oh, Malou taking some shots out, but only gives his position away. Spray comes up from the other side, and Example is able to finish off. Example still putting out a lot of damage for his team.
Valiant's ability to get inside, out from inside the blue, so opt to keep their hopes alive on the far western coast. And 4 AM in a tussle with M19 for control of the west. Knights and Liquid are having the very long-range battle. In fact, it looks like Draydon's able to get that knock onto Jeems. So we said Liquid doesn't have a hell of a lot of cover out there, but Knights have a lot of other people looking at him. Example, knocked and killed off Simpson. Able to claim that one, so Genji from inside the compound, looking up towards the hill. Voxix knocked off, and Knights, this quick rotation down to the cover of the rock. It's quick, but it's not clean.
It's really not great, but something else.
Oh, and FaZe are coming in right on top of Genji. The same compound that Genji assaulted before does not go the same way for FaZe. They have Gustav as well as Fuzzface knocked out. That grenade's a little bit too far, Simpson. Jempty, he is in relative cover, blowing up his Dashia, but there's the grenade from Simpson. FaZe with 1 left alive. Simpson wants to get that grenade in the perfect spot, cooking it, tossing it too short, but that other one, that's nice from Challeter, and Jempty is gone. FaZe out in 11th position. Their run's been good today, but it stopped at 11th position.
Now Drayden's down, and now Knights only have Texas as the last one alive for Knights?
Yeah,
that is
know,
something
right?
I don't think I've ever expected to see.
But he's in the cover of smoke, and Cloud9 can't see him just yet, so he's feeling okay. 4 AM with their walking wounded coming in. M19 is still around, and so is Vitality. It's just Yannick who's inside the crab shack. But bullets coming in from the side. Liquid does not want to allow 4 AM to come in. They're not actually properly looking that way. Yannick gets gunned down. That's not what he thought was going to happen there, but it's elite player. He's good.
Yeah, so M19 able to steal that shack away, but Liquid still doing a lot of damage on the southern side. A lot of members of 4 AM down. It's just forever up, and these nades might be able to find the last hits on him.
That's good. That's real good. Forever and CPT down. Liquid chalk up another 2. As 4 AM go out in 8th spot. The circle is keeping the southern part of this compound in, but it's Avanga who will have to move to the south. And Liquid and M19 will have to finish. They'll have to resolve this battle on the south if they want to keep playing. That's the only way that's going to work to control the southern.
Vanguard needs knocks and they need smokes. But Liquid, they're going on the push, and Scoom's actually using a vehicle for this. But oh!
Jeems! That looked pretty good to take the head off Jeems, but at the end of the day, Jeems better crack shot. combo together, so Liquid own the South.
They do on the South, but that doesn't give them much to work with. There's a reason why most other teams are still up in the North, because there are some trees there. It's not really a hill to play with on the western side.
It's something that's not surrounded by currently 3 full squads.
Yes.
It's a Vanguard, it's Entis, it's Genji. They are all looking to hold it in a Vanguard. They're pushing, they're going towards the barn. Currently, this is owned by OGN, who will not give it up willingly. Knights and Cloud9 are off towards the eastern front too.
They're inside. Vanguard actually able to make it inside. OGN weren't able to contest it too much because of the proximity of everyone else around them.
They're all at least around the edge, but going into that building, that would be more of a problem. Skoom is able to find Texas on the way through. This is where Liquid actually have a position which Vitality is used to. That long-range kind of fight where they could just chip away at the guys playing close. It's very similar to actually almost what FaZe did when we were playing around Crater yesterday on Miramar. The Chelita opening up, Liquid, they try to push in closer, get away from that car, it's about to go boom. And they had the distance, so Ibiza will stay alive, and now his cover is stationary and solid. Moody can't make the same type of run. Skoom able to get the knock, Stab becomes instantly a snake. As James making his own quick run, Loki can't hit the easy ones, only the hard ones.
Skoom are actually, and the rest of Liquid, they're actually spreading out quite a bit. They recognize the situation that they're in, and they just got to go for something, trying to set up crossfires to, I guess, make up for their lack of real cover defensible position.
They really need the circle to shift south, or else Liquid are in a world of hurt. And, well, Skoom actually gets the knock onto a Noctiv, trying to get a little bit of revenge for the fact that he had his kill stolen previously. Now it's Ibiza who's the man in trouble. Genji just pushing out a little bit with Simpson over towards the crate, so they're finding the angle over on Liquid, and Liquid do not get the circle they want. Skoom is the only one who's in. We're going north, and this keeps the compounds in play for the moment. But only for the moment.
Yeah, only for the moment.
My beats is gone.
It's going to go dead center here, and this is going to make a fight between OGN and Avangard, because one of them has to clear out the other before they can go to the center of the circle. There's about a couple of minutes left before that final shrink is going to happen, but they both know that it's going to happen. And OGN, they have no control. They're just stuck inside, watching for the push of Avangard. They're unable to clear any of the space around them. This gives Gen G the space to do whatever they want, which is why we saw Simpsons push down onto those craters to drop Ibiza.
It's at this point, if it wasn't for Stab on the eastern side and Liquid looking over towards a Vanguard, they could potentially just jump over the wall and hold that southern part of the barn, and they could just mow down OGN because they've only got one door to go out of. Unless they want to start jumping out through the roofs. James goes down, so Genji again making issues for Team Liquid.
Hey, Skoom Snake, we've seen that quite a bit before.
Here comes the circle.
50 seconds.
Condense it up. Stab just goes for the slowest crawl he possibly can. Skoom won't poke his head up. He's happy with this. He wants this to play out and be exactly where he is.
Ooh, Mumino hopping.
He could just watch it. Mumino shouldn't see him, though. Right now, he's going to be very well focused on what's going on with OGN.
Vanguard, they have a tight corner that they're getting slowly corralled in, and there is that wall in the way. I'm curious, I don't know if I'd like to see them, but they may want to pop out just like Mumino is and take some refuge around that tractor area, give them at least a little bit of space so they're not in one small tight corner that a single grenade can clear them out.
Wait for Chala to also turn his attention over towards his east. If he's able to see the run out, because you know the circle is now going to go dead center. This is the final. We go into the field. That's why Skoom and Stab are actually in really good positions. Skoom's actually got a semi-even defilade to work with, but as a Vanguard comes out, Genji is going to light him up, and it's the same. It looks like Mumino is already trying to make the move out. They're on the edge of the circle, but Mumino does make it to the wall. So he's in semi-cover as Entis. They get a knock onto Diaz. So a Vanguard, not what they want have happen.
Yeah, Chris just tossing some nades down there. That's why it was good that Mumino popped out, but he actually gets caught from the back by Simpson.
This is Genji doing their work. They have that side angle. Liquid doesn't have the numbers to contest them. It's just Skoom. So now, here comes Entis. They're on the run out. And knocked. If he needs to get the knock, we didn't see them inside the smoke. No continuous spray. Mirror will get knocked out, but it's Genji who's doing the work from the side. So Enters are able to take the compound, even though Mira is knocked out. Yak and Chris are up and kicking. If you've got a grenade, you toss it in there, and you are going to claim some good kills. But they don't seem to have them. The grenades instead fly over from Genji over towards Avanga, who are now locked out. It's Stab who pokes his head up. He'll find the kill, limited in kind. Skoom trying to find the better position as Genji, as well as Enters are just ripping each other apart. Skoom is loving this. If Simpson can find him, however, then this may be all coming up Genji.
This is good by Genji. They're able to recognize that Avangard and OGN were so busy caught with each other, they had so much space to work with.
The circle is on him. Enters have no other choice. Walking out right next to him is Loki, and now it's all on one. Team Liquid. Skoom inside the grass. Loki and Simpson will look for him, and Simpson standing right on top of him. And, well, it's actually Simpson being knocked, but it will be the final kill going to Loki. He's been there at the end time and time again for Genji. And he pulls it through. 15 kills for Genji. What a round and what a victory.